away the Varia themselves.
Yeah, that's interesting. We don't typically see the Varia ban on A side, but now it's almost canceled out because the Churnwalk is banned on the other side, what we typically expect to see here. So now the pick goes to C9 now. Let's go ahead and see what they prioritize here, which...
One of two things is going to happen with this pick. One is either going to be the Grace, just because they know Grace is very strong, or it's going to be a laner because Cloud9 loves to lock in a laner for Old School with their first pick, and that's exactly what they're going to do, grabbing themselves that Ringo to go into Old School's hands, although a little surprising that they put the priority on the Ringo when there are so many other laners still available as well.
Well, I feel like that's probably because we do see Ringo being pretty strong this patch. We saw him in VIS Pro, picked up a lot, almost 100% of the time, picked or banned. And his weapon power route is really increased because of his range advantage now, a gift from the dev gods. Grace actually does get locked in for Rogue, and that's taking away a pretty good power captain from Gabe Vizzle right there.
Yeah, it's a pick that Cloud9 really does like to run, so Rogue, obviously a very strong pick for themselves, but also being able to deny one away from their opponents. Always a good feeling in the draft when you can do that.
So the question is, now that we have Baptiste eliminated, they could potentially be looking to... we'll see what they ban here, but I'm expecting C9 to maybe pick up one of their last two captains next rotation, and they could be picking up a Lyra, they could be picking up an Arden. Those are really only the most viable captain options available. But we did see Lorelei picked up by Gabe Vizzle last week, so he may prioritize that as well. We'll see.
I'm very interested in seeing where this ban is going to go, though, because with Grace, obviously, both Blackfeather and Rona do exceptionally well. However, I don't think you ban either of them here. Or if you do, you ban the Blackfeather, because if they take the Rona, you can just grab yourself a Scarf, but they don't ban either. They leave both Blackfeather and Rona open, and it's going to be a Saw for Rogue, so not even going to be looking towards the Rona with that pick, and trying to get that massive synergy between the Grace and one of those two all-in melee heroes, instead getting Saw on their side. And this is one of those teams, one of the few teams that is more than willing to run a Saw. It'll be interesting to see if it goes on to Sibs or Hammy. Hammy is usually the one that is known for his Saw play, but Rogue has been known to switch things up in the past, so it's just going to have to wait and see there. But now Cloud9, the ball in their court.
Yeah, I feel like Hammy and Sibs are pretty flexible with the heroes they play. They have pretty good hero pools, and we do see a Lyra picked up, so that's one of those two captains that we were discussing here. She's kind of... her sustain is really good, you know, but Arden has been prioritized a little bit more than Lyra has. And if she picks up that Crucible, which we have seen Gabe Vizzle pick up a lot, that could be potentially good for blocking any CC that we have coming out of Rogue. However, we don't know what the carry is, the final carry that we're going to have for Rogue. So we're just waiting on that to see if we could see Gabe Vizzle going the Fountain route, or if he's going to be going Crucible. And an Ozo is picked up here for C9. We got a Saw and an Ozo in the same game, Tasty Bacon. There's going to be some action out here on the fold.
There absolutely is, and a Kroll getting locked in as the last pick. So a lot of aggressive heroes, a lot of fighting to be expected in this game. This is going to be another barn burner, it looks like, as we head into our first game of our second semifinal here in the Halcyon Elite League playoffs. Once again, Cloud9 taking on Rogue. Two top Vainglory 8 teams. Two teams that were in contention for the #1 seed throughout the entire autumn season. We'll see them go head-to-head here. Now, it was Cloud9 that actually stopped the run of Rogue and caused them to fall just a little bit shy of getting that first place seed and a World's Birth back in autumn. So Rogue definitely going to be looking for a little bit of revenge as we load onto the Halcyon fold.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely right with that revenge, because Rogue was at the top of the charts in autumn season. They had such a good run autumn 2017, but we saw points stolen away from them, and TSM ended up locking in their spot for Worlds. Obviously, Tribe ended up getting the wild card, and the rest is history. But C9 and Rogue have had a lot of contention within the top 4 of the Vainglory 8. So it's going to be interesting to see how this series plays out, because these are both very, very strong Vainglory 8 teams, Tasty. And here we see kind of the typical stuff here. Looks like we have actually Rekt is playing on this Lyra here, and it looks like Gabe Vizzle is going to be on this Ringo. So he's flexing his muscles a little bit.
I mean, we've seen Gabe Vizzle play these carry captains in the past. We've seen him run Sky Captain. We've seen Vox Captain. Now he's just going to go straight up into the carry position, saying, you know what, enough of that carry captain nonsense. I'll just go straight up for a carry. But interesting to not see Old School playing. It's obviously, I would assume, just a scheduling conflict for him. But Gabe Vizzle as the carry, and getting to see Rekt on the fold for Cloud9. You know, he's been on their roster as a substitute for a few seasons now, and we really haven't gotten to see him strut his stuff on the fold in quite some time, and really not since he was on Gangstars. So nice to see him back out here playing and getting a little bit of work in with the team. We'll see how it works. And Rekt, I mean, now the Lyra pick makes all the much more sense, because that was the hero that Rekt was most well known for, was his Lyra play. He was the one who started the whole build a Crucible before a Fountain when you're playing Lyra and things like that. So we'll see how it works out. But right now, down in the jungle, Sibs and Joseph going to be getting into a little bit of a skirmish with everyone else collapsing in now. Hammy is the target, and he is going to get melted down quickly, but gets out alive. Meanwhile, Sibs trying to get that Spectral Smite onto Joseph, doesn't get a kill from it, and so everyone will just be backing off for now. But Sibs, he's in a really good spot for this Elder Treant, whereas Joseph is very low on health.
Yeah, Joseph very low on health there. He's going to have to back off, and it looks like he's going to be porting back to base, and because of that, it looks like Sibs is going to be taking the Elder Treant for himself. Pretty good lead for him down there in terms of experience, but his CS numbers are just one behind I Love Joseph at the moment. Looks like they are going to be going into their jungles at about the same time here, but the wave is getting pushed up pretty well by Hammy and Evil right now. As you know, the Saw does have a really good potential for pushing waves, not to mention being minion candied waves at that. And I would be surprised if within the next few minutes they didn't take this turret at a pretty reasonable time here, Tasty Bacon. But another minion candy still sitting in the inventory for Hammy, so he's really prioritizing pushing up these waves here, continuing to maintain the pressure. But it looks like Joseph's going in.
And Joseph just going to push everyone away. And that's a great way to stop that aggressive pushing that Saw does. Although you see Gabe Vizzle take a lot of damage from the suppressing fire. But the thing about the Crystal Saw is he can push the waves extremely effectively with the suppressing fire. But when it comes to actually taking the turret down, he doesn't excel quite as hard. Right now, Sibs going to be getting into a bit of trouble with Gabe Vizzle. I Love Joseph and the rest of the teams kind of collapsing as well. Sib's going to have to use that healing flask to keep himself topped up. Meanwhile, Hammy trying to get some more work done on this turret. Obviously, he will be pushing in those waves very effectively. When it comes to the turret, not quite as quick. So he gets the minions there and tries to just assist them in that work, trying to just keep Gabe Vizzle up in the lane. That's one of the other major things. You keep Gabe Vizzle in the lane, you'll buy some time for Sibs, and Joseph goes and gets stunned up by the Holy Nova, nearly dropped to the Spectral Smite. Will get a Healing Sigil and a Treant to keep himself topped up, though, and can maybe look to continue this fight. Another nice Holy Nova stun, but it's not going to be enough. Perhaps up in the lane is actually First Blood. Hammy gets that one, and then Sibs takes down Joseph in 2 quick kills for the side of Rogue. Now Sibs still chasing, has the Crystal Sentry on him, though. Rex just waiting for those weakness stacks to wear off. I'm surprised he hasn't just tried to turn around onto Sibs, knowing that he has this Crystal Sentry's help there. Sibs gets the barrier from the Dead Man's Rush, but Gabe Vizzle comes to his captain's aid, which just feels weird to say, but he gets the kill to return. First turret has fallen in the meantime, though.
Yeah, really well done by Rogue. Their rotations down, the continuous pressure in the lane via Hammy, minion candying the waves not just once but twice. He's bought those minion candies in his inventory, and it's a really good thing for him to be picking up the Shatter Glass at about the 5 minute mark. So he's got a pretty good item power spike for himself there. Gabe Vizzle has picked up that aftershock
Oh
there.
boy.
So
Double crystal composition for the side of Cloud9. A crystal Ringo and a CPOzo, although I Love Joseph still doesn't have that aftershock completed, so he's not going to quite have the level of damage that they want. But if you get a 3-on-1 situation, it may not matter. Sibs is the target. Bangarang's going to knock him right back into the rest of the team. They should be able to take him down. It's taking a little bit of time. Gabe Vizzle doesn't have the greatest damage with an aftershock in his inventory. And Sibs is still alive, still chugging away, getting the sustain. Doesn't have a Spectral Smite available, so he does back off, but they find the kill. It is traded 1-for-1, but now Gabe Vizzle going to be in a lot of trouble thanks to the slow from the sentry, keeping him in the general vicinity. Hammy doesn't have the energy for a suppressing fire. Evol rotates down as well. The Gabe Vizzle will get slowed up by that suppressing fire and the benediction, but he's going to get some movement speed thanks to Rekt with this Lyra, and will get out of harm's way when all is said and done.
We're having so many of these elongated team fights with carries running around Tasty Bacon. Tonight, we see them go so deep into the jungle, virtually to the lane, and then they still loop around and come back. And Gabe Vizzle, he is no exception to that rule. He did the very same thing, taken so low, but Rekt came in with that Imperial Sigil and gave him that boost and heal that he needed to get out of dodge. And sitting at 2-1 right now, Gabe Vizzle, he's not doing the best, but he's doing all right here on this crystal powered Ringo. So don't often see double crystal power come out here in the Vainglory Pro scene. But yeah, it's a very interesting thing here. I wonder if we will likely see some Aegises come out for Rogue to be able to protect against that. But
we're gonna have to.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. It looks like he's engaging, but he gets blocked off there.
Nice block by it was actually Evol using a Crucible to block the Hellfire Brew, which is interesting decision considering Hammy did have a reflex block for himself. But it's really the Bangarang and the Hellfire Brew are the only two things that really need to be blocked for the side of Rogue. So I actually, now that I think about it, I do like using the reflex block on the Hellfire Brew, because that then prevents the splash damage as well. And then Bangarang, you just need to use whoever's the target is only the one that really needs to block it. Obviously, everyone else will get pushed out of the way a little bit, but that's not that big of a deal. It doesn't stop you from DPSing, doesn't really displace you that heavily. Suppressing fire being used by Hammy, getting a lot of damage down, but immediately gonna heal up a bit of that by Rex Sigil. And you'll see if Rogue, they're starting to put some pressure on, trying to play aggressive, trying to play farther up in the lane than they have been. And it's forcing Cloud9 to have to answer. Cloud9 is having to stick around in the lane as well, which means that they are not able to get as much jungle farm. And it buys time for Sibs to just get himself farmed up on this Kroll. But as soon as he leaves the lane, Cloud9, they're going in right onto Hammy. Divine Intervention will keep him alive. Hellfire Brew is going to get blocked. Great job by Hammy to stay alive in this fight. From Hell's Heart connects, and now with Sibs here in the fray, they're going to look to turn this around, but Hammy, he cannot be a part of this fight. It's a 3-on-2 regardless because of the damage that Cloud9 was able to output. And now they can look to get some damage on the turret. Kroll and Grace, not the greatest at clearing out minion waves, so they're going to be able to get a lot of work done here. As long as they get out from underneath the turret, they took too much damage and weren't able to really get any damage done onto this siege. And now Gabe Vizzle, he's going to be in trouble again. Hammy with the mad cannon finds one kill onto onto I Love Joseph, excuse me. Gabe Vizzle going to be running to the hills, gets out underneath the turret, although Hammy, he's going to clip him with the suppressing fire and find that kill. Great job by Hammy to secure that one.
Oh, that was so beautiful. And we knew that he still had some of those Mad Cannon shots available to him. I thought he was going to go for the Mad Cannon, but the Suppressing Fire has better range, and it totally makes sense. He saved it, got under that turret, and just unleashed onto Gabe Bizzle. What a place for Gabe Bizzle, where he thought he was safe to port back home, and Hammy really capitalized and took advantage of it. And Rogue rotates through the jungle, gets some pretty good camp stolen away, and now we have some vision being picked up by Evil. But it looks like Hammy does have his clockwork completed now, so he's going to be able to have that extra CP power. Dank Shanks, suppressing fire is going to be coming off cooldown so much easier now, and it looks like he's working towards a piercing shard as well. We don't have very much shielding actually picked up by C9, so once that's complete, he's going to be able to just do some pretty dang good CP damage.
Yeah, the goal for Hammy is just going to be to try and melt through targets before they have a chance to really react. I mean, Gabe Vizzle, will become extremely vulnerable when he starts charging up that Hellfire Brew, so he's going to have to choose his spots so carefully. Suppressing Fire going to go down. Wrecked is going to take a lot of damage. The portal on through. That's now a fully spun up Saw right in the thick of things. Gabe Vizzle's just going to get shanked before the Hellfire Brew even gets thrown. I Love Joseph has to bounce away to his captain. And Rogue with another kill, extending this gold lead just a little bit further as they start to work on the next turret and starting up the gold miner as well. Excellent job with the objective control and just knowing when to engage with this Saw.
Yeah, pretty smart there, Tasty. Them pushing that wave up, rotating down to help Sibs take out that gold miner. And now we have the Mad Cannon
melting through Joseph. The gold mine is still ticking away. That's going to be a suppressing fire going out. Gabe Vizzle takes a lot of damage. Can they get into range? Here comes a Shank trying to find a target. Does not get the kill. Hammy is going to be staying safe. Sibs trying to do what he can on the front lines. Hellfire Brew will get thrown, will get blocked. They tried to match the damage with it to get through the barrier, but it's not going to be enough, and instead it is the Ozo falling to Hammy's Saw once again. Gold Miner was stopped. That's kind of the silver lining of this play for the side of Cloud9, but it's a Kroll. He's just immediately going to start this one up again without really any concern.
Yeah, and the trading was so far in favor of Rogue right there that C9 had to either respawn or port back home so that they can go ahead and top off their health bars, Tasty. So they really were able to take advantage of that. They only delayed the gold miner from being taken, and now we have a breaking point picked up by Sibs, his first weapon power item, but we know that it looks like their strategy here is just going to be protect the Hammy composition. We have Evil using those Holy Novas, stunning up I Love Joseph over and over again. It's just insane how many times he's gotten stunned up, even while he's acro bouncing into these fights and around onto the different heroes. And Hammy, he's doing 800 plus last I saw damage with those Dank Shanks, and the range on his suppressing fire is just so insane. He's already got his it looks like he's almost got his next item completed. He's working towards that broken myth there. And despite his immobility, Hammy is just causing havoc in these fights with his Mad Cannon, with his suppressing fire, with the repositions from his Dank Shank. And there's the broken myth coming out onto him now. And Vision picked up by Evil, so we can go ahead and throw out some flares. And it looks like there's a lot of lane and jungle pressure coming out of Rogue.
And Rogue's going right after the Crystal Sentry. No hesitation on this one. Crystal Sentry's going to get taken down without any contest from the side of Cloud9. And Rogue, they're in the driver's seat here. They are in control of this game. The Saw pick is doing so much work. And again, when you pair it with the Grace and the Kroll, that's so much protection. It is so difficult for Cloud9 to actually get onto Hammy, because as soon as they go into melee with it's the Ozo, he gets stunned up by the Holy Nova coming out of Grace. If Gabe Vizzle tries to get in range to do his damage, he's getting suppressing fired and then shanked down. The Mad Cannon is doing a ton of work. Everything is working for Rogue right now. That's going to be a portal getting used by Wrecked just to get out of the suppressing fire. And now members of Rogue, they can just stick around and continue to put pressure on this wave. Their siege potential, just by having a Saw, is actually relatively high. You don't really need much else to have a good siege. I Love Joseph takes a lot of damage from that suppressing fire, will heal up a good chunk of it, but Kraken has now awakened. side of the map.
If you think about it, Tasty, Hammy is the absolute win condition here for Rogue. Yet he has 6 kills and 0 deaths, 0 assists. He's doing all of this on his own from the back line here. So what we need to have Gabe Vizzle and the rest of C9 do is focus Hammy down. Of course, that's a tall task to ask.
That's a lot easier said than done.
When you have Evil diving in with these benedictions, providing a lot of Holy Nova stuns and Holy Shield support to reduce the damage that's coming down onto Hammy there. And if you look at Gabe Vizzle, he's actually picked up a Dragon's Eye. I don't like the Dragon's Eye on the CP Ringo because he takes forever to be able to ramp up the stacks on there. And you burn his Twirling Silver, you burn his Achilles shot, and that's all he's got. And it looks like Gabe Vizzle's going low.
He is going to take a lot of damage. Mad Cannon doing a lot of splash. Wrecked the target. Wrecked the killed. As now they can go on to I Love Joseph and Gabe Vizzle. Gabe Vizzle has those stacks, but he hasn't been able to throw out that ultimate. The core of a CP Ringo build. He's just going to get taken down. Double stun. Evil using the Echo for the Holy Nova to keep Gabe Vizzle in place. And now Sibs just chasing down I Love Joseph. Weakness stack. Shiver Steel finds the kill. And they turn onto the Kraken. Rogue putting on a masterclass with this Saw. And absolutely taking control of this game. A sizable gold lead. And now a Kraken.
Gabe Vizzle is feeding a little bit here, Tasty. He's at 4 deaths right now.
I Love Joseph is in a lot worse shape.
He is. He's at 5 deaths right now. And 0 kills. Almost got it.
And he nearly got that shank off.
Yeah, I really liked what happened there. Kraken is actually on the leash now for Rogue, but I really like what happened there at Gabe Vizzle's death. So what happened was he could have got away. If he just used his Twirling Silver, keep his movement speed up, he could have gotten away. But because he turned around to do one attack, Evil took advantage of that, capitalized with 1 Holy Nova stun. Then he got another one off instead of echoing a Divine Intervention. It's just so smart to be able to do that. Plus, the cooldown is so quick for the Echo. It's already up. He doesn't have to wait forever for it to be up again. And now we have the Kraken pushing into this choke point turret.
Amazing wherewithal for Evil to know that he can just throw down that Echo and catch Gabe Vizzle, slow him down just enough for Hammy to catch up to him. They're going on to this turret. Like you mentioned, everything is available. Hellfire Brew was just used. That's going to be another 20 seconds before it's available. Kraken pushing in. You can see not a whole lot of damage being done to the Kraken by this Cloud9 team. From Hell's Heart will stun up Gabe Vizzle, and now the fight is on. I Love Joseph trying to get in the thick of things, but he's taking so much damage. Hammy is low, but a Divine Intervention will change that. Suppressing Fire gets the kill. Actually, the kill goes to Sibs. And Sibs does end up actually not protecting Hammy there as I Love Joseph finds the kill, but it's not going to matter as they get the second Vein Crystal turret, and it is just wrecked, left alive to try and stop this. Sibs just harassing him all the way onto his healing platform, while Kraken and Evil pair up to take down the Vein Crystal turret, and Rogue, in a very dominant performance here in game number 1, will take the victory over Cloud9.
Wow, Tasty Bacon. We're seeing some interesting, fascinating, and compelling games tonight here on Halcyon Elite League. That was an amazing game. Rogue dominating. Almost a perfect game here. 3-12 right now for Rogue. And Evil even threw in a little bit of that CP damage and extra scaling on his Divine Intervention to keep Hammy alive in that last fight. Just keeping Hammy alive, only allowing 1 death onto him over and over again as this CP saw. It is just amazing. And I Love Joseph not performing as top-notch as we've seen him in the past. Gabe Vizzle on this Crystal Ringo, a little bit of a questionable build with that Dragon's Eye for me, but they just got aggressed on, starved out, and they weren't able to capitalize on anything in this game. But looking across the fold, Rogue, just the objective control, the pushing from a CP Saw, which we don't typically see him pushing objectives this well, was able to do it so effectively, and the protect the Hammy composition worked out for them.
Yeah, a great performance from Rogue, and again, just shutting down the CP Ringo, but especially shutting down the Ozo in the jungle. Ozo just never really got anything rolling for him. You look at the item differences. Obviously, Kroll only has the one offensive item, but you look at the tier 3s completed. He has 4 tier 3 items. I Love Joseph only has the 3, and tier 1 boots at that, too. So definitely a huge advantage in the jungle, and of course in the lane as well. You see just Hammy 7, 1, and 3 on the CP Saw. The Mad Cannon was just, anytime someone tried to go aggressive, Mad Cannon came out and just melted through them, forced the members of Cloud9 to have to run away. And once you're running